ambitious professionals. It's Linda Rayner of lindarayner.com, guiding you to a career and life you'll truly enjoy. If you are someone who is currently struggling with your job search, maybe you've gone on a few interviews but you haven't made it to the job offer stage, or you're struggling to get interviews at all, today's video is going to help you big time. I am going to be talking to one of my amazing clients and students. Her name is Sadaf. She is actually here in my studio with me today, and she's going to share with you her story and what she was able to do that got her from being unemployed, not being able to land any job offers, to then being able to sell herself confidently in front of employers and finally getting the job offer that she always wanted. So if this sounds like something that you want to learn more about, stick around. So Sadaf, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you in the studio and talking to the audience. So Sadaf, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about your professional background?
I've been working as a business analyst for last over 10 years, and I've mostly worked in operations and customer contact center teams where I worked on a lot of different projects. And in terms of my education, I studied at University of Toronto, so I have my business analysis certification from there. I also went back to school again and finished my Lean Six Sigma certification from University of Toronto.
Awesome. So you are a business analyst, essentially. Yes. You've had a lot of years in that field. Great. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your story before working with me through Stand Out, Get Hired? Tell us a little bit about what was going on with your job search.
So I finished my last contract in October of last year. And since then, on and off, I was looking for work. And I wasn't getting a lot of callbacks, so I wasn't getting a lot of interviews. And even when I would get an interview, I wasn't having much success. Like, I'll make it to the first round, but I wouldn't make it to the second round or the third round. I was working maybe 10 to 12 hours a day, applying for jobs. I would apply for anywhere from 50 to 100, 200 jobs a week. And I wasn't having much success. And I do remember that I came across your course for working on my resume. So I ended up taking that course, and that did help me get more interviews, but I know my weakness was the interview process. So when I get a lot of questions, sometimes I get really nervous or I don't share the right details. It comes across as if I wasn't prepared. So that was my experience in a nutshell before I started the program with you.
Great. So yeah, and that's something that a lot of people struggle with is they can get the interview, but once they're in the interview, they're not able to sell themselves.
Right.
And they're not able to communicate well. Okay, so Sadaf, why don't you share with us, before learning my interview strategies and techniques, how were you approaching interviews, and then how were you approaching interviews after you learned my interview strategies and methods?
Before using Linda's interview strategies, I was going into the interviews feeling really nervous, really anxious. I didn't feel prepared for the interview. And at times I would feel really overwhelmed as well, because if it's a panel interview, you have 3 or more people interviewing you, and it would feel like the whole focus is on me and everything that I'm saying, everyone is like writing it down, and that was really overwhelming. There were times when I would wake up in the morning of the interview and I'll be petrified just knowing that I have an interview today. And I wouldn't want to get out of bed just because if I just slept longer, maybe it's going to go away. Maybe my anxiety will go away, or they'll call and cancel the interview because it made me so nervous. However, after meeting with you and going over the strategies, what I learned was that wasn't a good way to go about things. So then I would prepare my answers more from the job description. So I would really look at every skill that they have listed in the job description, break it down, and kind of prepare questions around it, and then prepare my answers around it too. So what that did was it really prepared me when I was going into a job interview. So I'll feel really confident. I would feel like any question that they threw at me, I was already expecting it. I had one version or another version of it already prepared in my head. So it gave me a lot of confidence during an interview. And at any point in time, if they were to ask me a question that I wasn't sure about or I didn't really prepare for it, I knew that Linda taught me a strategy where I could prepare extra stories in advance and I could use one of those stories to my advantage. So it gave me that extra boost of confidence, which was really, really helpful. And it really showed during the interview. So I would see that the people interviewing me, they would start smiling at me, or they'll be like, oh, like I could see the look on their face, like, oh, she just thought of it on the spot, because I'm not good at hiding my emotions, so you could see pretty much everything on my face. So they could really tell that I just thought of it on my feet, and that it was a good answer. That really impressed them.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so you had been looking for your job for a while, and you had gone on interviews, and like you said, you were really nervous and you weren't sure on whether you were going to get a new job, and you felt not good enough. So then you decided to sign up for Stand Out, Get Hired. What made you decide on that, and what was your experience?
So I was thinking about signing up for the program for maybe 4 or 5 months. And I think the only reason why I didn't sign up for it sooner was me basically just standing in my own way and stopping me or my career from moving forward. And the reason why I signed up for the program was because I really believed in you. I've read so many of your testimonials, I watched so many of your videos, and energetically, there's something about you that always attracted me. So when I decided to finally invest in myself and my career to look for a new role, I wasn't going to invest with anybody else but you, because I had confidence in your program. I knew that when I started the program, whether I was able to land an offer in the first 4 weeks or 3 weeks, or even by the completion of the program, I knew it was going to be successful, whether it was during that time frame or whether it was going to be later on. And I knew a lot of what you're going to teach me, it's not going to be just for this particular role. I know that I'm going to be able to take this forward, and also I'll be able to use this in my current role moving forward, because I mean, everything that you do teach me, I use it right now at work, like every day. So I do review my notes from time to time, like every other day or something. And it gives me a lot of confidence, everything that you've taught me, and I'm so grateful for that.
Well, thank you so much, Sadaf, for sharing that. Because a lot of people, they feel, well, when it comes to finding a job, I should just be able to find it myself. I should just be able to do it myself. And obviously Google, there's a lot of information on Google. I mean, obviously if you search me up, you'll find me on Google. But I guess, what did you have to do from a mindset perspective that shifted you from saying, I'm not going to keep trying this on my own, I'm going to ask for help, and I'm going to reach out to Linda specifically to help me? What was that deciding factor for you, or what did you have to tell yourself to shift your perspective?
So I'd reached a really low point in my life, which I haven't in the last 15, 16 years. Like I spoke a little bit about it earlier, about nervousness or not feeling good. That feeling didn't just last during the interviews. That feeling was becoming a permanent feeling in my life. So it was starting to impact my relationship with my husband or my relationship with my friends, because most of my friends had jobs, and when we would meet, I would just not be feeling good about like spending money, or I didn't know what to talk about. And that became a permanent feeling, and that's not a good feeling. And I started really worrying about myself, that if this feeling lasted too long, like things are going to turn for the worst. And what really shifted was eventually not that I wasn't feeling good. Like I wasn't motivated to do anything. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to do yoga. have a dog, I wouldn't really want to take him out for a walk. I would do it because I had to walk him every day, but it wasn't because like I was excited and I really, really wanted to do it. And when I reached that point, and I make it a point to write like 1 page or 2 pages every day, if not every day, I push myself to do it every week. And then I also go over and review my notes. So when I reviewed my notes for the last like month and a half, and I saw what I had written down and how I was feeling, I told myself, I was like, no, something has to change. What I am doing, it's not working. What I'm researching on Google or what I'm finding on LinkedIn, all these articles, yeah, they may be helping me, but they're not focusing on me and my personality. So I knew I had to change and I had to invest in myself. And that was really the turning point for me, just knowing that I had to do it for myself and myself only. You know, now that I think back at it, I feel like I should have done it sooner, because then I wouldn't have went through all this emotional and psychological mess that I did go through and that I put my family and my friends through. So if I invested sooner, I would just have been happier sooner. I would have got a chance to meet Linda sooner. But I'm really, really glad that I did it. My husband also loves the program. I think soon he's going to start with the program as well. And I really encourage, if you can find the money and find it in yourself, to really invest in this program, because this program really helped me a lot. And not even just to land a job. It helped me with myself, my self-esteem. It helped me get my confidence back and feel like I'm valued. It made me feel I was proud of myself before I even got the job, because I learned to look at myself differently once again.
That was awesome. You know, I think a lot of people will be able to relate because, you know, just like you said, when you're not working and you're trying to find a new job and you have all your friends and family who are working, you feel left out and you feel like something's wrong with you because you're not able to get the job that you want, but you know you deserve it. So I'm so glad that you made that investment and that we were able to work together. So why don't you share with the audience, what was it that was so unique about this program in terms of what was 1 or 2 of your key takeaways from having gone through the Standout Get Hired program?
So I don't think it was just 1 or 2 things. I have a list of things that I am taking away with me from this program. I would say the couple of the top things would be communication. So I learned how to communicate with people while I was interviewing and how to phrase my answers, which really helped me build my confidence level and help me feel better about myself. The other takeaway for me was that confidence, or feeling good and really believing in the program, regardless of what the outcome of that one particular interview will be, because I felt that I was valuable, that I was worth a lot more than how I was thinking and feeling. And that's all because of Linda's program. If Linda's program wasn't designed in a way to take care of how I was feeling emotionally and psychologically, I don't think the program would have worked. Not only for myself, for anybody. But because it's designed in a way where it takes care of every single element, because she knows how people are feeling, it really helped me on every single level. The other major aspect I would say is that a lot of times when we're researching for programs, either they seem too short or they're just extremely lengthy, where you're sitting and working like 8 hours a day over day for months. And this program, it's very concise. She builds it keeping you in mind and what's going to work for you, which is really important to me, because I don't want someone to give me a program and tell me this worked for everybody and this is going to work for you. I want someone to meet me and customize the program for me, which is exactly what Linda did. She knew how I was feeling emotionally, psychologically. She knew what or what were my hurdles during an interview, and she ended up customizing the program for me, which in the short run and the long run is really helping me out. Wow, I choked there.
No worries. That's great. Thank you so much, Sadaf, for sharing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what your end results were? What ended up happening partway through the program? Because we're not even complete, but you were able to get results. So can you tell us a little bit about the statistics on what happened in terms of how many jobs you applied for and the offers that you got?
I didn't want to apply for too many roles because I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and I really wanted to work on myself, and I really wanted to pick the jobs that I was really interested in. So I applied for 3 roles, and I had success in landing the first interview. Not only that, I went through the process and I made it to the 3rd round. And after the 3rd round, one organization made an offer, and I very gladly accepted it in a heartbeat because it's in the capital markets industry, which is where I wanted to work. The other thing was it's in a project management team, which was my second requirement. And third, it's the type of work that I really want to do and enjoy. So I accepted the offer, and the other 2 roles I very kindly declined.
Amazing. So you went through the program, you learned what you need to learn, you applied for 3 jobs, you got interviews and got final rounds for all 3, and then you got 1 job offer and you declined the rest. Yeah. Amazing. Love it. Love it. So what would you say, Sadaf, to the people who are watching who have been thinking about working with me, either taking my online courses, like you had initially taken Top Notch Resume, I now have Top Notch Interview, and then you signed up for Stand Out, Get Hired. For any of my online programs and courses, what advice or insight or guidance would you give to someone who is on the fence about investing in themselves?
My one advice to you is do it. I could go back in time and change something. This is one thing I would change. If you're on the fence, don't be on the fence. Do it. I can tell you this with a lot of confidence that you're not going to regret it at all. You're really going to love the program. You're going to enjoy it. And you're going to have a lot of success from the program. I mean, if my husband is going to do it, I feel like everyone who is even learned about the program should do it anyways, whether you're thinking of a career change right now or not, because it's going to help you in whatever role that you are in right now at the moment. And it's not just even about the interviewing or landing that next role. It's about so much more than just that. And then the other thing is, we can't expect for greater or brighter things to happen for us or to us if we're not ready to invest in ourselves or in our career. I mean, we all want bigger homes, so we save more money, or we look for that job or another way to make money so that we're successful or we can compete with somebody else. So why is our career different when it comes to our career? Why is it that we feel that we're just going to be able to do this on our own, or by spending some time and researching on Google? If it was that easy, why are there so many programs out there?
So, Sadaf, do you have any other final words of wisdom or advice for the audience?
I know that you have a program coming out which is called Top Notch Interview. So if there is any of you out there who are looking for a new role, I highly recommend this program, because I know this program has all the strategies that Linda has taught me, and they really helped me, and I'm sure it's really going to help you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Sadaf. I really appreciate you taking the time and spending it here with everyone. And your story is so inspirational. So again, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. If you were able to relate to Sadaf's story and you realize that you're ready for one-on-one professional guidance and help from me, just like Sadaf was able to achieve, then feel free to reach out. Head on over to my website, lindarainer.com/standoutgethired. Read through the page, fill in the application form, and if it feels as though we are a potential match to work together, then one of my team members will be reaching out to you directly. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you